Torsten, how are things?
Things are great. Thanks for setting this up, Dermot.
Yeah, absolutely, my pleasure. I'm always keen to share insights about not only our customers, but the amazing people I get to work with day in, day out. So thanks for joining. Why don't you kick things off, Torsten, by telling me a bit about yourself?
So I'm the geek in the room for sure. There was a time when these T-shirts came out in London and it just said geek across the top and everyone was wearing them. And my friend said to me, and I don't know if this was a compliment or not, but he said, "You're the only guy I know that actually deserves to wear that." So there we go. I'm the geek in the room, and I absolutely love technology, but I probably love doing something useful with it.
Do you have any interesting facts to share about yourself?
So Dermot, you probably didn't know this about me, but my great-grandfather discovered the diamonds that are now part of the De Beers diamond mine up in between Namibia and South Africa. And actually, we've got a picture in our house with my great-granddad shaking hands with Oppenheimer, making the deal. I wish he never did the deal because we don't have any of them. But anyway, there you go.
So there's no longer any connections to De Beers, and the reason I'm asking, I'd probably have an impending engagement coming up in the next couple of years.
Yeah,
and you might
maybe
be the right
maybe
man
my wife
with.
was hoping that there would still be some connection, but yeah, we've explored all options. You know, it's
Okay, very interesting, Torsten. Look, your career spans over 20 years. Might be showing your age there. With a background in IT, you were CTO in one role and also co-founded a couple of companies along the way. Can you talk to me about your background in more detail?
I am the geek in the room. I wrote my first computer game at the age of about 16. I started my first business at about 17. So I've always been trying to find that happy medium between technology and business. And so over the years, I've led teams. I was part of a startup that I helped to launch, and always sort of looking at what technology can do to actually make people's lives a bit easier.
And are you still a keen gamer? Are you an Xbox junkie or PlayStation, or is that in a past life?
I'm proud to say I'm still introducing my kids to cool games, and they're like, you know, dad's still going to come up with the goods. So if you're still doing that, then obviously you're a keen gamer, right? Yeah.
They're still introducing you to Fortnite, and they're probably asking you for money to buy their loot boxes, I would imagine.
Well, that will continue forever, I'm sure. So supplying the money is one thing, and actually making some money is another challenge, which I do try and teach them. But let's see, one step at a time.
Good to see you're instilling those values early on. So interesting to learn about your role as CTO and also as co-founder. Can you talk to me about, you know, how that background contributes to the conversations and the engagements that you have with your customers at Salesforce?
To be a bit more serious, I'm the platform specialist on the team looking after the emerging region. As the platform specialist at Salesforce, what I'm looking after are a range of products that sort of underlie the core clouds that we have, the core products, the core solutions. But that covers everything from security to app dev to integrations and a lot of features in between. If you were to summarize it in a little bit more of a tongue-in-cheek way, I think that I try to be a sleep therapist as well as a HR solution engineer. Let me tell you what I mean by that. So the sleep therapist is all of those guys in the security, guys and girls in the security department that have to actually ensure that their data is looked after and that the company is safe. And there's a whole lot that Salesforce does for that, and I work that out with them. And on the HR side, one of the things that IT is facing is a massive challenge because they've got to add a lot more outcome without increasing their HR headcount. And how do you do that? Well, you can do that with platform. You can do that with low code, that sort of stuff. So sleep therapist, HR solution engineer, that's my job.
So if I was to describe you then as kind of the sleep pillow spray, and I would be the duvet, and then another person on my team would also be the pillow, that would be quite accurate. There
we go. You've got it. We're a package there.
Okay, good stuff. Good to know that Salesforce is putting people to sleep. Torsten, I'd like to talk a bit about some of the trends, and you touched on some of them there, around security and, increasing IT investment without increasing, the overheads of people, and increasing that. In Salesforce's most recent enterprise technology report, where we interviewed 100 IT leaders from around the world, we discovered some of the global trends that we're seeing CIOs and CTOs thinking about. These range from increasing investment in customer experience all the way to blockchain, and the impact that can have on businesses, and right the way through to system integration. You have the luxury of chatting with CIOs and CTOs in South Africa every day. Is there any trends or challenges specific to the region that you're seeing, perhaps?
Dermot, one of the exciting things about the African region is the innovation that happens very quickly, and the ability for technology to be used in very creative ways. So that's a great advantage that I see in my region. But of course, that comes with challenges and risks. And so one has to be very proactive about that. And I work with a lot of financial companies, a lot of consumer goods companies, really a range of industries. And while they can tap into this innovation that's happening on the continent, they also are exposed globally, because really we're in this, this global economy. So they need to have best of breed security intervention to make sure that they are not allowing this innovation arena to impact negatively on security and on the brand, the quality of the brand, really. So security threats are absolutely massive. And then data management. And I mean, that's what does that actually mean? I'd rather call that loyalty and the value of loyalty to companies, because we're in this massive stage now in IT of collecting a heck of a lot of data. But we actually have to do things with that, and we've got a lot of tools that do it. But the end result is that we are going to build loyalty and trust with our customers. And being able to do that and demonstrate that is a challenge that companies are now facing more and more.
You mentioned the Salesforce ecosystem there, and perhaps as an introduction to many people who might be watching this who aren't aware of the Salesforce ecosystem, both directly through me and you, Torsten, and our team working in South Africa, but perhaps you can talk a bit about the wider ecosystem in terms of our partners and our ISVs that are supporting the growth of Salesforce in South Africa, but also contributing to digital upskilling of people.
So when I think of the Salesforce ecosystem, and it's been great to learn about it as I've become part of the company and grown with the company, and you realize the breadth of it, because yes, there's product that companies will buy and use, but around that, there's really an economy, you could call it a Salesforce economy, around the partners that are implementing that. And there's a long journey that they go with their customers, building, being that trusted advisor. And obviously there's a lot of skill moving into the partner ecosystem as well. And then individually for people developing their careers, and there's so many different pathways one can go in terms of which way one takes. One doesn't have to be wearing the geek t-shirt to actually benefit from this ecosystem. And then the resources, and really if a platform is going to survive, it has to build up a trusted ecosystem of people that really benefit from it. And I think our Trailhead is just an absolutely crucial part of empowering people to grow their own careers.
Absolutely. And, I wouldn't be the Salesforce enthusiast I am today if it wasn't for a platform like Trailhead. Perhaps you could just describe Trailhead in an elevator pitch to me.
Trailhead is gamified learning, and it's gamified learning for not only the Salesforce platform, but also for the skills that go into digital transformation and go into using technology to bring business value. So whichever pathway you choose, and you can choose all these different pathways, and you then attach a trail map so that you can go on a journey in your learning to eventually get to where you want to be. And then that can branch off And so it's a bit like a hiking trail, right? You find your way to where you want to get to. There are lots of different ways to get there, and there are lots of journey steps along the way.
Very good, Torsten. And I assume you've achieved your Ranger status, probably 2x Ranger or 3x Ranger by this stage.
I'm still trying to catch up with some of my colleagues. It's a very competitive landscape to in Salesforce to be at that highest rank. I'm getting there.
Yeah, the highest I think I've seen is a 6x Ranger, and actually one of our partners down in South Africa. So pretty impressive stuff. Torsten, looking forward into the next year in 2023, we're already 5 months into 2022, and some of the trends that we're seeing and that were predicted, the shifts towards a focus on well-being at work, and how this is top of mind of people's agenda, not only when moving role, but also moving company, the shift to hybrid work and how employees are now demanding that flexibility to work at home, but also commute to the office when needs be, and the necessity for businesses to be agile and adaptable. What new trends do you see South African businesses facing over the next 12 months?
I'm seeing in the space that I work in, obviously that's focusing on the Salesforce platform. I really see businesses needing to focus, and I'm hearing this, on differentiation from their competitors. So what really makes them unique and valuable, and profitability. We've come out of some tough times, obviously, post the pandemic, or, the tail end of it. The world is forever changing and there are always new threats, but companies have lagered down for quite a while, and they realize they now need to focus on growth and profitability. And so I'm seeing that focus. And that ties in with a lot of the things I've already been talking about in terms of being able to do that in an agile way, because we don't know exactly what next year's differentiator is going to be. So we need to be able to go fast, but also turn, so that agility that a platform can bring. And then also, obviously, around the loyalty is so crucial. Actually, people do like to, for example, share their data and let a company know more about them if there's something they get back in return. So companies have to be quite proactive about showing how they look after their customers' data, and then they can really leverage and engage with them on that.
So the continuing trend that you see is companies need to be able to respond quickly, be agile, not knowing what's coming ahead, but just be able to move fast. And the Salesforce platform and the ecosystem that we have enables companies to do that. Touching on loyalty, and I'm absolutely willing to allow all cookies for the brands that I like, but when I'm being introduced to a new brand, or perhaps purchasing a new product from a brand I haven't done so before, I'm less willing to do so. Is there a company that is doing brand loyalty and loyalty management well, in your opinion?
There's a great fintech disruptor that I'm working with called Yoko, and they are providing very innovative products and an excellent quality of service, but they're also really looking after their partners, their customers, and the way that they're doing that is making sure that they know them well, that they respect them, and then providing value to them based on how they know them. So in this way, obviously gathering that data about their partners or customers, and then using that data in a value-adding way builds that loyalty and that trust, and obviously it can keep growing from there.
Interesting that you use Yoko as one of the stories. I know Yoko quite well as their account manager at Salesforce. And yeah, I completely agree. They're doing some fascinating things on the Salesforce platform, and customer engagement, customer experience, and customer loyalty is something that they absolutely excel at. They are pending approval to be at our Salesforce Live at Salesforce Johannesburg on June 9th. So just a bit of a sneak peek into the agenda for that show. So if anyone is interested in learning more about their story, please feel free to register and sign up. Torsten, just wrapping up, I guess, Salesforce is a behemoth of a technology, of a platform, of an ecosystem that we touched on, and we can't cover everything in such a short time. But I'm curious to know, is there something about our business or the platform that you would want other people to know about, or that you wish people knew more about?
Well, Dermot, maybe a bit surprising. I'm going to figuratively, or take my geek T-shirt off for a moment and talk about something that I learned about Salesforce just shortly before I joined the company, and that is the 1-1-1 program. And it's a philanthropic commitment that the company has got, and it really resonates with me personally. What it is that 1% of their time, of the company's time, our time, 1% of the equity, and 1% of the product is committed to philanthropic purposes and programs. And to be honest, that just is fantastic to be part of that. And you could say it's only 1%, but you know what? It's 1% across all of those. And actually, when you say, do I wish people knew about it? Having led a company before and knowing what it's like, I wish more company leaders knew about this and actually joined that program, because that could make a very profound difference. I'm currently engaged with a program or an organization in Cape Town called Capacity. They are a tech career accelerator, and they are not only helping to train and nurture new talent, but they're actually walking the journey with them, so that after a few years, that person has got a journey that they've been nurtured in, and that they can look back at, and at the same time the company that they're working for is reaping the benefits from that. So very valuable stuff happening through Salesforce and their philanthropic programs. It's great to be part of it.
100% agree with you, Torsten. It's one of the main reasons why I was so keen on joining Salesforce. And interesting, you mentioned right about that tech career accelerator. I actually worked with a college in Dublin last year, and they were running a program in coordination with Salesforce to help students within college in their third semester or in their third year get into the tech sector. And I was working with a student over a 3-month period. And he actually just emailed me there a couple of months ago, I think about 2 months ago at this point, to say that he'd found a job, an internship for the upcoming summer, and he wanted to thank me. So you get that kind of feedback loop, which is fantastic, contributing to these kind of activities. Torsten, thank you so much for your time. We can wrap that up now. It's been 20 minutes or so, but it's been an absolute privilege to chat with you, and have a good day.
Thanks, Dermot. Thanks for inviting me.